started boxing when I was 4. I finished when I was around 16, 17. I was the Australian champion. I had probably 50, 60 amateur fights in the ring. For the first time in my life, he said to me, you can have a break if you win the Australian title. So I won. 2 weeks later, he said, get ready, you've got to fight for the junior world titles. And it was the only time in my life I ever sort of stood up, not in a physical sense, and I said to him, you said I could have a break. And he said, you've got to fight. And I said, well, I'm having a break. He said, I'll break your head. I said, break my head. And we sort of locked horns and I never fought again. I suppose a tough guy is someone who's sort of lasts the distance as well. There's a lot of sort of so-called tough guys, but they're only tough until someone comes along. It doesn't mean that because you get beat, you're not a tough guy anymore. I suppose it's just someone who stands the test of time, and it's a good person as well and has the respect of the people. People don't respect you, there's something wrong. If they don't respect you, well, are you really a tough guy or are you just a fucking bully? That's the difference. I don't like bullies.
Tough guy in life or in the street? I have different definition. For me, a tough guy, like let's say if you take a fighter, when it's getting very hard, when the opponent is better. You go down a couple of times, come back up, you know that the guy is better, but you don't give up here. So that's a tough guy. Now, you have a tough guy in the other way. Let's say like my dad that came from Morocco, that raised his family in France, fighting against, racism barriers and foreign language, etc. That's also not a tough. It's different toughness, but that's also tough.
The willingness to, there's the start line, and you just go till you get to the finish line, whether you win or lose, or die along the way.
It's being fearless. Some of you won't back down. You'll go against the odds. You always have that option to leave, run and avoid trouble. But a tough guy, when push comes to shove, you'll back down from nobody.
A human, to be polite, to have mercy. For me, toughness, it's a weakness. It's to be tough, it's no big deal. It's lots of people tough. They kill so many people. They say, oh, they're tough. But it's no big deal to kill. Tough, it means it's say truth, your soul.
Tough doesn't mean, in martial art, when you're tough, you become very kindness, very calm, very peace.
Only physically tough as we don't call tough guy. Mental and body. Most important is what you believe and what you're doing.
It's a fine line between toughness and the dirtiest and the meanest. Some guys are incredibly tough, but they're not going to step on you 50 times. It's like a good hockey player. The fight's over, I got that guy beat, let him go.
Someone who has less and less fear and doesn't work with emotions, more professional person. And someone who's humble, has humility. Too much pride and aggression, it's not good. It destroys you eventually.
There's a lot of guys in the gym that are tough, that can bang, or on the street can bang, but at a certain point you start to look at that, is it tough? Is it tough, or is it compensation for a weakness?
The ability to accept the situation, I think, is a big part of being a tough guy.
This is not tough. And the tough is hard, you have to have soft, nice heart.
Человек может быть сильным, суровым только в определенное время. Дело в том, что как у нас привычка такая, что увидел на журнале стоит вот такой человек, он вроде такой суровый, сильный, да? Вот. Он что, всегда такой? Он что, не спит, не ест, он не любит свою жену, он не любит своих детей. Он такой вот, на журнальной обложке. Это не человек тогда уже, это мумия.
And what makes a tough guy? A good guy is more important than a tough guy. There's tough guys that are real tough guys, that are good people, but are their circumstances of growing up make them tough guys.
We have so much pain inside, and so many tough guys came here, and sometimes you step on them just to check their muscles, and they already start to scream, they already make face, bad or something. And when you ask them, listen, you come to fight here, and you cannot even hold that small pain, or even they hold the pain, but they hold with the tension. Of course, they're tough guys. That's what the difference between a tough guy and a normal guy. They can hold the pain, but for how long?
Then you have the other tough guys that are in jail. That's another thing. There you have to be very, very tough to survive, I guess.
Любой человек должен быть просто нормальным человеком. Да, он иногда злится, он иногда радуется, он иногда плачет. Он просто человек. Он, правда, себя доводит, бывает, до таких состояний суровости. Но это вопрос его гордости и самолюбия.
For me, tough also is when you are taken out of your environment, you are put somewhere else, and you have to go through things or survive or just live, Because when we're tough, let's say in a ring, with my rules, my boxing gloves, my shorts, I think it's in my word. It's easy for me to be tough, so maybe it's not the same definition of toughness, but taken out of your environment, put it somewhere else, that's maybe there where you can see a real tough person.
I had my first boxing fight in 1972. I was 4 years old. Then in 1979 or 78, the laws changed in Australia and you had to be 10. But by that time I was around 9 years old, so I'd boxed from the age of 4. Then I had a year off, played rugby league for a year, loved that. But Dad, when I turned 10, my father wouldn't let me play anymore. Had to go back and box, and that was it. My father, he boxed. He was chosen for the 1960 Rome Olympics. Got the passport, which I found in his room as a kid, and I got a clip across the ear for snooping. And he ended up going to jail and missed the Olympics. And so my father sort of, ran from his past and lived his life through me.
When you're, the only brown kid in an all-white Scarborough school, think about that. I would really have to say rambunctious. I think myself and my brother who's closest to me, Aaron, or as I call him, the lowland gorilla. I'm a very slight, skinny guy. He's a very robust, solid guy. And we were, I guess, off the hook. We were just very, very rambunctious. We wanted to get into everything. I guess we fought a lot. We were very athletic kids, very, let's go and get stuff done.
Ever since I was a kid, I just always wanted to be a gunfighter, I just thought it was the coolest job. Because of the injuries, right, the gunfighting aspect of my military service isn't no longer possible.
Когда был маленьким, был хорошеньким. Когда подрос, был хулиганом. Вот. А потом потихоньку исправлялся.
My father had a farm in the mountain, and he has a business town, but he put all children and wife to the mountains with the farms. So we educated small school. Only my classmate is only 8. Total school is 30 people, 3 teachers, very nice. And then I have the ocean and the mountain both together. I have to wake up to take care of the animal, milking, everything. I start around 8 or 10 years old. I have to wake up 6 o'clock in the morning to milking the cow.
I was born in Morocco, North Africa. I grew up in France. It was nice, it was tough, tough neighborhood. You gotta know how to use your fists, But it was nice, it was a good experience. My father would work, my mom was at home, 5 kids, like typical second generation immigrants from Morocco, North Africa to France, Paris. And, sometimes it was tough. Like, let's say I don't come from a very rich family. The other side, actually, the contrary, the opposite. And so, you know, go to school. I wasn't the best at school, but luckily I got, when I started doing the Boxe Française Savate, you know, that changed my life.
I had an older brother who was my sparring partner as a kid. When I was a kid, every family argument, didn't matter what, he would yell, Carmel, yell out. My mother would say, no, Joe, no, no. He said, shut up, get the gloves. And me and my older brother, who was 13 months older, but he was a big boy, and it was on. Off we'd go to the coffee table, roll up the cowskin rug, and it was TV ringside. And we would just punch it on. And that's how, so we used to settle disputes at the Fazio household.
I was just a normal boy, a little bit, you know, do the bad things, but not that much. I believe as a small kid, always want to be a hero or something, like at least to know how to fight, a little bit to protect yourself, your friends, of course, and maybe a girlfriend in the future. But most of the time, you want to be just a strong boy. In my school, we study box from 14 years old, so till army. No, in Russia, everybody have to be a soldier. I like to fight, so it means it was fine for me. I was, of course, afraid a lot, but I don't know, it was fun. It's just you feel yourself like you're alive. When you're in an orphanage, I would say, orphanage, no, it's just, you didn't see them because my brother was older than me in 4 years and my sister was younger than me in 2 years, and those ages, it's hard to be friends, as close friends, because we didn't see each other a lot.
And then my younger brother, he could handle himself, my younger brother, but at 16, I was an Australian gold medalist and he was an Australian gold medalist ballroom dancer. So talk about, you know, but he could handle himself, but he was just, chose a different path. He was a smart one.
I grew up very tough, very rough, very poor, you know, have to fight for education. You know, the reason I started Muay Thai because of money. You know, when you fight, you get paid, so you can survive. I started training when I was 9 years old. 9 years old. In the schoolyard, we don't have pads, we don't have heavy bags. We just have a 1 cent bag in the schoolyard. So, and in the same years, when I was 9 years old, I have a first fight. No gloves, bare knuckle. We use like a t-shirt. My teacher used t-shirt and rub our hands and we fight. That's Muay Thai. First one is, seriously, I get paid by candies. Yeah. The winner got 2 candies, the loser get 1 candies. This is, we talk about almost 42 years ago. That's it. My second fight, I got t-shirt. Okay, I got t-shirt, and then I remember my opponents, the loser guy got a book, you know, like a reading book. So that's a gift. It's not, maybe first starts as a gift first, and the money come along when you're 13, 14.
So as a kid, that was my life, you know, boxing was my life. 3:30 I got home, 5 o'clock he'd walk out and he'd just go, oi, get ready. And that was it. That's all I was ever allowed to do. Wasn't allowed to play any other sport. Wasn't even allowed to do phys ed at school. The only good thing was the headmaster couldn't give me the cane because he told the headmaster, you hit my son's hands, this is not on because he's got to box on Friday nights. Then he told the headmaster, he says, I'll beat him, don't worry about it.
I have 4 brothers and 1 sister. My father was a small wrestler, no? Small, but he's not so big. My brother was the judo captain. So I started around, I was watching for their training. So start around 6 or 7. My brother was sensei, yeah. And then after that, we went to the police department. In Japan, each police department, they have the dojo. So we trained over there. Karate very serious is around 16 to 18. Yeah, 16, around 16 years old.
I had about maybe 12, 13 fights, mostly bare knuckles fight, no gloves fight. My first time I got paid, I think, when I was 14. It says in Thailand, they have a law and regulation. When you fight in a standard ring, you must be 14 years old boys, 100 pounds up. There's a law. Then But one thing is in Muay Thai is you can fight every day, every corners, you know. So it's very easy. Unbelievable. So some people, my friend, have 300 fights, 350 fights. The foreigners still figure out how you fight. You start, you're 9 years old, now you're only at 28. You have 350 fights. Sometimes we fight twice a day, twice a night.
I think it was 1962 or something. It was quite a while ago. Wow. But young kids, aggressive kids, looking to vent out. And then karate gave us our start. It was our beginning. I enjoyed it. And we saved up money, shining shoes, you know, nickel and dime in it, and we didn't have the money. And it was tough. And when we got there, we enjoyed it. And we had a lot of pride, so we said, man, this is fun. It'll keep us off the street, it'll keep us in one direction. And then I had problems with it because I couldn't accept it because it didn't work. I guess that's the Irish background, because in Ireland they bless with their right hand, so they could hook you with the left, so none of it made sense. But I enjoyed it and I accepted it as art form.
When I first came to Canada, I told the people, if I have opportunities like you guys, I want to be a doctor. I want to be the engineer, the best. But I have no chance. For me, I told my students, I said, for me, I have no times, even though I mean it to be bad. So I have to fight for my life to study. Because we came from a poor family. Only one thing we believe, if you have good education, you get a good job, you can be better. If you don't have education, you know, how good you are in Muay Thai, you never be good. I have a friend, 90%, champion for 5, 6 different titles in Lumpini Ratchanamnam. After retired, zero, no money, because there's no education. I used to get punished because I'm late in the training. My friend laughed at me. I'm missing a lot of training because I have to go to school. But my friend never missed training, but I missed a lot of school, opposite. So the people never miss training, the end of their life is zero. For me, I missed a lot of training, got punished almost every day, but I got education.
Let's say that some people are made for playing soccer or whatever, rugby, and me was like more Savate was really my cup of tea. I started the same time as I started the Savate, it was boxing, so I did a lot of boxing, then kickboxing, Thai boxing. I turned pro in kickboxing, and I was like ranked number one in Europe in 1990, like 7 years later. And I did some also like Thai fights in Thailand in 87, 88.
I didn't have any real education because at 5 o'clock I had to start boxing, and so homework wasn't important. Not that I wanted to do it anyway, but you know what I mean, it wasn't important, so that's all I ever did. I was like a fighting dog, you know, I boxed. Didn't matter who walked in the gym, that's what I did. So at 18, my only skill was my hands really, and you know, people skills, because you meet all walks of life in the boxing gym. So then I just started working in security, and I suppose I fought for the next 15 years on the street. Not in a bully sense, just again, you know, product of your environment. And I'm only 5'10", 80 kilos, so it was always the guy that wanted to test me. And my father sort of, as a kid, he said, if I ever find out that you bully anyone, he says, you come home and I'll give you a hiding of your life. But you ever let anyone touch you or your brothers and you don't do something about it, you'll get worse. And the funny, not in a bad way, but my father said, if you smell someone's going to go for you, don't let them touch you. He said, if you smell they're going to go you, he says, you go first. He says, and don't worry about it. He says, you be first. And I'd probably tell my son to sort of try to avoid it, but but anyway, that's how I grew up, so that's how Dad was.
And then I watched another art form, Kung Fu with Paul Chan, Sifu Paul Chan in Chinatown. And then we started banging each other around, then we started taking some moves from Kung Fu as we invented parries. Like boxers parry punches, we were the first guys to parry kicks. And that came from my formal kung fu training, only from a classical stance, and then do it standing up normal. Traditional kung fu stands down low. I'm short to begin with. Now I'm really short. You can kick me like a soccer ball. But the old traditional open hand techniques where you touched your leg, you stayed low, and you actually hear it. Touch your leg. Then you would strike. And all we did, we stayed there whopping 5'6". You stayed tall, fired your rear end a little bit back, and parried the leg, parried the ankle. Then, of course, when you've never been parried before, your hands do this, so it's a free bang and clean off your chin.
5 or 6 years at the 6 or 7 years at the house, the local politician got my dad the Balga Boxing Club in I think around 79, somewhere around there. And still today, Dad's there every night. So my poor mother, it was around 2 or 3 k's from the house. And if I had $1 for every time I got whipped, then he'd get me in the ring on the pads, and if he was in a bad mood or I was talking too much, he'd belt me, I'd jab and I'd cop with the pad, and I'd jab, and I knew I was doomed. And he'd say jab, and the minute I jabbed, I'd cop the pad after about 4 or 5 times, and he'd yell and scream. He'd say, "Get your fucking bag and run home!" And he'd kick me fair in the ass, and he'd scream, and I'd just grab my bag, and out I'd go. And my poor mother, I'd run home, and she'd be by the bay window, cooking the pasta, and she'd look, and she knew what went on. She knew, home again. She'd say, "What happened?" I go, "What do you think?" So I'd get a hiding from my father. She'd say, quick, go and have a shower before he gets home, and he'd be in a foul mood for another till tomorrow night, 5 o'clock. Oi, get ready. So that was my life. He had a very tough life with his father, and in Sicily they had nothing. My dad was 14 when he met his father, because his father was in jail until he was 14. So, you're a product of your environment. My father wasn't a doctor or a lawyer. His tools were boxing, so he gave me the best that he could give me.
For the tour where I got wounded, I was a sniper team leader there. So, and that was awesome. It was one of the best things I've done in my career. I like weather like this. In the military, we call this good patrolling weather. In this weather, everybody's cold and wet and miserable. So if you're trying to sneak up on them, it's pretty easy. So the only thing that sucks is after you sneak up on them, then you're cold, wet, and miserable. Snipers, for the most part, are that 1 in 10 guy or 1 in 100 guy that can absolutely separate the job from everything else and the killing from the necessity. But that doesn't mean we're psychos. Sometimes, I can't help but question why it doesn't bother me that I killed people, but I hesitate to tell people that, snipers that I know, and for me personally as well, that it doesn't bother us to do what we do, but we still have feelings, right? Like, I don't want people thinking we're a bunch of crazy people. We're just, we're very much aware of exactly what we're doing and why we're doing it. But, we still have feelings.
Today's athlete walking into a mixed martial arts school, a Thai school, a boxing school, they're learning how to fight right away. They're taking them the shortcut straight there, and they're all dangerous. But if no matter how good they are and how deadly they are, the true martial artist still got to come out in them. You don't pick on anybody. You don't cause problems. You help people. Be nice to people. Put your smile on, all right? But you're not training to stick your chest out and, "Oh, I'm a tough guy." That means you're an asshole, an idiot.
You can never be satisfied as a sniper. I think is one of the biggest things you need to know is that you'll never be good enough. Anyone that says that anyone that says that they don't make mistakes or they're the perfect shot or anything like that, I don't believe it. They've never done it, or they've never done it for real. As an Army sniper with a battle group, to me, my target is from the tip of his toe to the top of his head. And I just want to kill him or wound him or hit him. Our motto is 1 shot, 1 kill, and we mean it. But we'll take a hit wherever we get it, right?
Martial art people, they did war, right? No, they fight. Then they left for this martial art to be strong, to can fight, but their main inside is to make peace. To make you can strong, or soft. Also, you breathe infinite. That's all use technique, punching. So all technique, if you're training long time, you are not outside moving, inside, like U-joint, car U-joint, no? Small movement, you move the big tire, right? So you have to move inside. So karate breathing, like kind of orchestra.
See, this here is you start to massage the organs. It's very, very good for health. The reason why is usually our body holds tension, right? These areas, our body just holds tension no matter what, and same as our organs start to hold tension as well. So as you start to push in, the person studies to relax, and this helps him with punches as well, not to tense up when the guy hits him. But when you start to push in, the blood rushes away from the organ, and then as you slowly release, fresh blood comes to this organ, which brings oxygenated blood and all the nutrients to the organ. So it starts to stimulate all these areas again.
And then the last meaning breathing is that like skin breathing. No, almost no sound. Like when you are sleep very deep, no make sound, right? Right? No? This is the very highest breathing. Meditation time or anything, no? Yeah. Some people underground earthquake, they breathe to survive. They breathe very short breath, no?
When we got into the war, when we lose our swords and sticks, what we do? We grab our enemy, kill them with the elbows, kill them with the knees, kill them with a kick, kill them with a punch. They're surprised. And then the nation say, wow, this is Thai. Thai can kill the people with the elbows. We're not a top, but we have something special than another nation. So that is become the legend of Muay Thai or martial art of Thai people. Muay Thai is, we have philosophy. Say, eat much as you want, train hard as you can. There's balance. There's a balance of Muay Thai. My favorite is with bare knuckle fight with Burmese. Fun, no gloves. You know, that's the last one when I was 44. I fought in my hometown. About 3,000 people show up. That stadium never seen that much before. So the 3,000 people show up, watch me. 44 years old man fight with the leader, young guys, you know. But he's heavier than me from Burma. We ordered him from Burma. Bare knuckles is we call Muay Katua. Traditional, just Burmese and Thai only. We don't fight Thai to Thai. Because we believe Burmese is an enemy. 800 years ago, they took over our country, Siam. They burned everything down, so now we fight back. We beat them up.
For us, the goal is to make people healthy. They have to be healthy in the body and the spirit, psychologically too. Because the fear makes our body so tense, and it comes to the point when the people will start to explode or they will die. But when you relax the person, when you even hit him, but to give him a chance to see where they're weak and to make them healthy, that's our goal in this system.
Like 10 years ago, I switched towards self-defense, and now, let's say, I feel very confident in self-defense, and so I'm teaching, trying to give all what I know to my students in terms of combat sports, martial arts, or self-defense. I love MMA, even adore it, but you have to be realistic. You know, the ground and pound, There's a lot of pressures, to the brains and things like that. I know that this it's less than boxing because we focus more hitting the head in boxing, but you got to see the size of the gloves, the toughness of the gloves, and the rules. And sometimes by the time the referee is there, the guy is already out. My teacher was to tell me, Sam, if you can avoid a kick or punch now, avoid it. If you don't know now, why now? When you're 60 years old, you'll find out.
I used to hear this as a kid from my teacher. The hardest hit is the hit with love. And it just never made sense to me until I understood the best you can do with your body is in a state of happiness, in a state of love, in a state of euphoria. Your body moves. There's no tension. There's no anxiety. There's no anger to restrict you. It's all love. So when you get a group of people doing what they love, doesn't mean they love the other guy. It can be very competitive, it can be very intense, but they love where they are. They're in the now, they're totally zenned out, and they're doing their thing. And when it grooves, it's not a matter of just hearing it, it's not just a matter of seeing it, but it's a matter of feeling it.
See, in this style system, we work from contact right away. Right away, the person gets touched, gets used to getting hit. It's not, there's no gear, no head things. The person right away has to get contact. And I get used to hitting someone, and he gets used to getting hit. So I get used to touching someone, getting comfortable hitting them, but in a nice way. Not like aggression, but slowly start to. But the first step is learning how to breathe. If the person can't breathe, won't be good.
The longest shot we recorded on my roto in 2006 was 1,750 meters. So, as for snipers, like I said, a kill's a kill. We're looking through a scope that's, modern scopes are up to like 40 times magnification. So, you can pick out, if the guy has something in his teeth sometimes, right? And we're able to pull that trigger and end that person's life.
The fact is, self-defense, you have to train self-defense. You want to be good at self-defense, you have to train self-defense. You have to know what self-defense is. You cannot do an art or sports with rules where the muscle memory, let's say, is not, you cannot ingrain it because, let's say, if I never learned to throw kick to the groin because I did judo, boxing or whatever, it's gonna be hard for me to reproduce it in the street. And so this is the line between combat sports and self-defense. Self-defense, you have to be, your brain has to be ready for no rules. Anything goes. It's really like what we would call full contact, because there is no. You can hit wherever you want, you can use whatever weapon you find, and that's the main difference. And once again, the brain is programmed. If during 20 years I trained Thai boxing, which I love, I never learned to throw kick to the groin, or poke the eyes, or bite the ear, pull the hair, it's going to be very hard to reproduce outside. It happened to me several times. As a bouncer, when I did my thing, problems, I go park, the guy goes down, whatever, then I stop. Because why? Because it's within me. It's down, I have to stop, And also what is the aspect interesting about self-defense? It's the conditions. Multiple attackers, armed multiple attackers. The environment, on ice, in the street, at the beach, in a nightclub, So all these things makes a big, big difference.
Relaxed body, it's not a big deal. Good.
Fight for blood. If we don't see each other blood, it's not fun, you know. Somebody have to bleeding. Either Burmese or Thai, you know. Burmese, they think the same thing. They want Thai bleeding. By 80%, we beat them.
I had a great time, like, I'm not gonna lie. I thought combat was one of the best things ever, but, you know, getting hurt and all that, it's just part of the deal. It sucks, but. Come on.
They have two different kind of exercise. We call physical exercise, like me. My student here, we call it physical exercise. You can lose the weight without nothing. Work hard. And then another exercise we call chemicals exercise. People go to the gym, they take supplemental, mostly they take steroid. That's chemicals. Because they don't believe themselves.
It was my sniper team and then my boss joined us, so there was 4 of us. We got our orders. We had just done a couple tough patrols in my mind, and I thought maybe we should sit this one out, because it was gonna happen with or without us, but we were pretty eager to engage the enemy. So I had my point man, my boss, my sniper, and then myself in the rear with the radio. So we were going through one of these fields. The walls that are built around it all have an opening in them. And that might be our mistake, is we used the opening that is given, which is kind of it's an obvious mistake, but we had been in that area so much, we thought we knew which ones to avoid and which ones not to. So then my point man goes through the door, and then my boss, and then my sniper, and then it was my turn. So I came up to the opening and I tapped, and we had our night vision on because it was 4 in the morning. I tapped my sniper on the shoulder. He stood up to walk down the path. I waited till he was 5 meters from me. And as I turned to walk, that's when I detonated the landmine. It was just an anti-personnel landmine with a mortar bomb underneath it. And the mortar bomb is what took my other foot. If it had just been the landmine, it probably just would have been my 1 foot. Anyway, the bomb went off. Really surprised me, obviously. About a half an hour after recce platoon showed up is when Alana's ambulance showed up. And after that, they got me into the ambulance pretty quick, and then they got me back to a secure spot for a medical helicopter evacuation.
Most buddies my age are, half of them are in the grave, it's already too late. And the other half are on 1 foot in the grave and 1 on a banana peel. Right, they're all in Viagra, they're all in Cialis, they're taking pills for everything. I don't take a pill. My medicine cabinet, I opened it up, it's toothpaste and cologne and deodorant. What's a pill? If I have a pill, it's expired 20 years. I don't buy into anything. Old-fashioned hard work and lots of balls.
Tar. One of the good things about getting your legs blown off is you can park in the nice spots with the handicap right next to the door. I never thought about it before I got hurt, but you know, I guess I always had a pretty positive outlook on life. I tried to avoid the negativity, and now I do that even more. I consciously keep my eye open for the good side of things.
When I was 30-something, people made me mad, punch face right away, kick right away. Now people come smash in my face and say, hey, try again. Try again. You try one more time, either you hurt yourself, you cannot hurt me. Or I got to say, hey, forget about a mistake, and I return. So the peace is almost like monk. When you train, you know everything.
I'm not as rambunctious. I'm not blinded by the testosterone in a lot of situations. So I start to see myself as becoming wiser, not smarter. I'm starting to get wiser.
Even though I was wounded and lost both feet, and you know, I killed the enemy, and I saw my friends being killed. We aren't, as a group, snipers tend to come through that stuff fine.
I feel great. You know, when we're all young, especially whether it's tennis or basketball, you've got that passion. You're competing to be the best, and if you become the best, wow, a small percentage do, and then after a while, you do it because you love doing it. And then when you get a certain age, you blame everything on age, mentally and physically. If something goes wrong, you blame it on your age.
Because of the injuries, right? You know, The gunfighting aspect of my military service isn't no longer possible. And as much as I love the Army, I found that I'm not as excited about putting on the uniform and cutting my hair every week when I don't get a chance to practice the gunplay, the gunfighting aspect of the job. So, you know, things are changing in my life.
It's all about maintaining quality of life. I want to be able to do it all. Fight, fuck, and hold the light all night till I'm 100.
I'm afraid of, I guess, my kids getting hurt. I have a fear of my kids getting hurt. I sometimes have, you know, you have dreams, and then you wake up, oh, it was only a dream. And things going awry with people that I love. Those are the fears that I have.
Obviously, since having Ayla, you know, failing her, that's my biggest concern. And
my dad is getting a little older. He's been battling cancer for so long, and I fear that situation. I fear the end of the situation as it culminates with his passing. So, and I guess as a human, I fear death.
Things like the government support for wounded soldiers, right? Because one day it could go away. You know, it could just go away, and there's nothing you can do about it. Not in control of certain things can be scary like that. Like, you know, I really don't have much control over my destiny right now, and to be honest, it is a little scary. Because before I had a nice career path chosen for myself, but they all included feet.
I'm afraid of lose God. That's scared me a lot.
Sometimes, you know, not being able to achieve what I want. There's so many things we could talk about, like, you know, kidnapping, abuse, these things that scares you. Let's say that the things that would scare me the most don't really have to happen to me. It's more to my relatives or close friends, etc.
So yeah, as a kid, you know, I sort of lived in, I loved my father, but I was scared. I lived in fear. I was always scared of the old man.
Of course, afraid to lose a fight, stuff like that. But fear is, I think everyone has it, but it's just then we learn to control it, at least.
Size matters. Anybody that tells you it doesn't is full of shit. At $140, our brother and I are $140 together. I mean, the average woman's taller than me. And when you're 140 pounds, you don't throw one and step back. When you're 140 pounds, you throw and throw and throw and throw until people pull you off because you're afraid you're not going to hurt them.
So if too much fear comes, that's why people start to shake and they can't work properly, or they do too much damage because of too much fear. They start to destroy the person because they're so afraid. But it's just them, you learn to control yourself, your emotions, and you do just enough damage to escape. You know, you hit the guy once and that should be enough.
Consequences. I remember admiring some tough guys growing up, and then one day they chickened out in a fight. Then I realized they didn't chicken out, because now they had a house, a mortgage, and kids, and some losers in their face. And that was 15 years earlier, they would have just ripped them to pieces or got in like a dirty shirt. Now they're thinking, I got kids, I'm gonna go to jail for this piece of shit.
I'm not afraid of nothing. I'm afraid to get sick. When I'm sick and I do nothing, sickness, it's not good.
Many things scare, depend on your day conditions. No? Everyday life, people use scare you, right? No? Financially, everything.
Getting old. I hate it. That's why I train. That's why I eat healthy. I count the clock backwards now. So I have more fun now because it's ticking. I'm way past the halfway mark now. I'm not going to live to 124. So I have more fun now because the days are numbered.
So many things scare, but how to fix up, it's myself. That's karate is very good.
You know, the fragility of life too sometimes, when you realize just how easily things can be, can change, you know? A little tiny piece of metal that big can stop it all.
I think what brings me joy is slowly but surely fitting in to my own skin. So I think really my lifestyle brings me the most joy.
Joy, aside from the family, I love teaching and I love learning in my field, my work, you know? You need to fight. Huh? We can hit. I hit here. Boom, that opens up for one. Here. Boom, okay? It's my passion.
Little kids, dogs, like being outside in the rain. I love it. Doing my job made me really happy. Finally doing my job the way I'm supposed to. That one of the best feelings ever was leading my sniper team on a patrol. Really proud of my guys, proud to be there. So.
I've got 2 great kids, a daughter and a son, and somebody just gave me a puppy.
You look miserable and sad. People are gonna think I beat you. He said, my son said to me, this dog's gonna be smart. And this dog's gonna have a good time because he's hanging out with me.
If my soul is happy, just when my family happy, my wife, of course, and to please God, I believe that's what gives joy in my soul.
My family, my daughter, my son, they made me happy, but different happy. I'm very happy because I see at least I have 22 students learning from me in the last 15, 16 years, open their own gym. They made a living. They have over 100 students. That's my happy.
I hate people who abuse power and they're bullies. And I literally, every night I want to bet, I want to do this guy, I want to do this guy. And I got about 4 on the list before I pass this. When I pass on, there's about 4 people that deserve something coming back to them. And they really do deserve it. But that gnaws at you like cancer. The nerve of them, because I would never, ever do that to anybody. I'd never rip anybody off. I'd never pick up on somebody half my size, because that's a bully, right? I mean, a brave man is somebody who'll take on somebody twice his size, right? But that's what angers me the most. And it eats at me until I get even.
Most of the time myself, when I do bad things, that's what makes me angry. When I start to think, oh, this guy did something bad, or she, mostly of course, he does bad things to me, and then you realize, oh man, it's just you, they're a good mirror in front of you. What they show to you is just who you are.
Oh, sometimes a punch can make us angry. Anything, just like average person, everyday life. Anything can make you angry.
I don't like injustice. I like justice. I like fair. I don't like crooks. I don't like in the gym when somebody work out with someone and use his strength. Okay? I don't like lies.
Bullies, injustice. I guess one of the reasons that you get into martial arts, and I've been in martial arts since I was a kid, and that's empowerment to make sure you don't get bullied. And then once you get to that point where you can't physically get bullied, you get to the point where you can't mentally be bullied, can't be intimidated, and then you get to the point where you want to pass that gift off to other people. So really that's what makes me angry, is seeing somebody bully somebody else and take that part of their existence.
I laugh when I hear guys say, oh, he's the toughest guy I know. I'd say, please.
You know, Michael Rapp going flat.
Yeah. When I see how Michael moves, how he talks, I admire him. He's I don't know, he's like he's the best.
I have a brother that was extremely, extremely tough. He's the second oldest. There was Mary, Danny, Sean, the twins, and my sister Nora. But Sean was the toughest because he had a short fuse. And he just, he went into another zone. He didn't care about the consequences. He did later. And we grew up, most people feared him. And when they didn't want to fight him, he'd say, you know what? Take on my little kid brothers. And my Mekanaiko, We don't want to fight him. He's got a beard. He shaves. We're kids. We're going through puberty. But we were so scared of him. Like, I doubled up on the guys. But as tough and as crazy as my brother was, and some of the toughest guys I knew, never, ever started a fight. And never picked on anybody that they knew they could rip apart. And in a way, that shows class.
The toughest guy I know, let's say that I'm going to talk about fighting in the ring because that's where I come from. The toughest people I've seen in the ring are guys from Thai boxing. I'm talking about Thai boxers from Thailand. They're the toughest, meanest people I've seen in the ring.
In this point, 51 years old is me, myself.
I think my father, nah? Yeah. He's not only karate, but lifetime. He told a couple of nice stories. Stay with me. He's a very different person. Very tough person. Yeah. For example, he said, heaven knows, ground knows, I knows, so I am right, Takemasa, you listen to me.
Like, how can I put this? Probably, he's old now, but probably my father. Because he's got that old, because I know him, I actually know him. I know the extent that he would go to look after his family, because I know what he is, you know what I mean? So.
Any regrets? Yes. Well, the first one I would have liked to be there when my father passed away. Okay, that's one of my biggest regrets. Maybe I've done more for him when he was alive. You know, these are things we always regret after, you know, they happen. I was this close to be world champion. Some bad things happened to me. I broke my nose. I couldn't fight. Didn't hold the title for me. Somebody did it, won the title, etc. And I would also for sports, I would have liked what's happening now, like the MMA. I would have liked to be there when I was young, growing up, because I would have liked to compete. Now it's too late. So I'll try to get that for my students, train my team, and put them to compete.
Oh yeah, all my life is like that. All regrets. I didn't live good. Did so many bad things.
Unfortunately, I haven't spent enough time with my sons. And that's, they live in a different city. I do spend every other weekend with them, and we holidays and stuff. It's a divorce.
My regrets.
When I was younger, it really affected me. I had a lot of guilt over that. So the guilt of not being that perfect, I guess, quintessential dad. But unfortunately, when I was younger, I wasn't mature enough to handle the situation.
I don't have so much anything, because for me, I forget very easy. Like yesterday, we lose $3,000. I forgot it already, you know, because I make it back right away. So I'm not a regret person.
Just that last step in Kandahar, man. But even that, you know, it would have its repercussions, right? What would I have Ayla? You know, would I be living with Alana? You know, it's you gotta measure it all out. And you know, if someone said we can go back and take back that last step, but obviously, you know, you won't have your little girl and that. Nah, I'd stay right where I am.
I mean, having a you know, I've got mother, father, 2 brothers. I have a girlfriend and a nephew and niece, and they're probably the most inspirational things in my life, because I suppose the reason, you know, we strive, well, me personally, I strive because I want to sort of make sure that my family are okay.
A lot of guys tend to get tattoos after they're wounded. It's part of our culture in the military as well. You know, it's the warrior thing. A lot of guys like them. You get some guys that are completely covered and some guys that don't have any, you know, but most guys have at least one or two. This one here I got, that's the day I was wounded in Roman numerals, January 11th, 2007. Up here is the Canadian Forces sniper logo is a skull with the saying, "Without warning, no remorse." It's a little hardcore, but it's part of my past, you know. I don't want to forget where I came from, and being a sniper and was one of the, you know, was the highlight, I think, of my life.
I believe when you believe in God, it's you prepare yourself for next life, right? Because when you go to the war, you grab a gun, you grab bullets, ammunition, you prepare yourself. But it seems for me, when I look around, people didn't prepare themselves for next things. They think they will live forever or something. Even they don't know how to pray.
I think what inspires me the most really is to see people shine. When I get to see people really show what they're made of.
Work with people, maybe work with kids, people with psychological problems. Maybe I like to step by step work with people like this.
I like when you have someone, let's say a student that comes here, he starts from zero, and then you can see the improvement. You know, he doesn't have to become a champion, but just, you know, on a daily basis, you can see that his kicks are better, his ground is better, his defense against knife attacks are getting better, etc. And there's a contact. With every student, it is different. So it's very interesting. You always learn.
I got my education on the street, you know, and in the gym. So, I was hanging out with, you know, I was a street guy, you know what I mean? And you can work out whatever that means. And then I sort of thought to myself, you know what? That is my trade. 26, I started training people, and that was an art that he taught me. You know, what he taught me, you know, no one could have ever taught me what my father taught me, and he taught me to be resilient and all that, and then I just turned a negative into a positive.
There's Billy, both legs and an arm, got blown off. You know, there's Andrew, had his whole leg right up to the hip, part of his arm. And they're all doing the same thing. They're all carrying on with life, you know.
The world will end when the majority of the people are evil. That's when I think the world will end. The good has always prevailed. That's why there's still an earth. And when it goes lopsided the other way, nah, then it's all over. But I think I got lots of time left before that happens.
I haven't find nobody bad yet in my life. I see everybody good. I never see nobody bad. For me, I give everybody a chance. I believe everybody can be good. The long as you give their chance, opportunities, be patient, be kind.
This is a message to every parent. Get your kids into self-defense, especially daughters, because with all boys, the same thing. All the things that happen nowadays, a kid has to be able to take care of himself.
Mind, body, and soul has become really important to me because they all mean the same thing, right? If one's out of whack, then the rest will follow. So, but you gotta tell yourself that every morning. Like you gotta look in the mirror and be like, okay, today's gonna be a good day. You gotta point at yourself and tell yourself that. Otherwise, you might not. And I have my bad days, believe me.
I know a lot of tough guys, and I've got a lot of friends who are tough guys, you know, and they're good people, you know. There's thousands of tough guys throughout the world that are good guys. There's a lot of tough guys that aren't good guys, but, you know, just one of many. And what does it take to make a tough guy?
You pass. It depends on what life you had in the past. When you were a young boy, when you were a little boy, when you grew up, the past make you a tough guy.
Okay, but the past can also break you.
Yes, but I've been so strong are still here.